We are pleased to welcome the head of one of Latin America's leading chemical companies, Ricardo Gutierrez. He joins us now. He is the CEO of Mexichem. Don Ricardo, thanks so much for joining us. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Now, as the largest plastic pipe maker in Latin America, how do you see business conditions right now?
Well, let me tell you, we already find a tremendous opportunity in Latin America. I think it's the first time we have low interest rates, low inflation, and the exchange rate is a positive situation. With these market conditions, the housing and the infrastructure, the agricultural business are fantastic. Our main activity through Amanco, which is a pipe company, which is located in Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Venezuela, and Ecuador, Peru. We found a tremendous growth in all these countries, especially Brazil. I would say Brazil is very interesting for us. Close to Colombia, which also is growing at a very good pace, and finally maybe Peru and Venezuela, they're in a very good conditions.
Don Ricardo, you mentioned a key word there, inflation, and of course, as stateside, we are seeing oil trade at records. I'm assuming, obviously, that you're affected by that as well. How do the costs of higher raw materials affect your bottom line?
But really, our basic raw material, which is the VCM, with the VCM we produce the PVC, and with the PVC, the resin PVC, we produce the pipes. We are suffering a little bit in the first quarter with the price of the ethylene, which is the basic raw material for the VCM. But fortunately, our customers, our market, they understand the situation, and they are ready to accept the price adjustment that we are affecting during this month.
So you are able to pass the higher prices along to your customers?
That's right, fortunately. We have the leadership that we have in the markets, and also if you put at the same time quality and service, it's not easy, but I would say it's not really the big issue for today to pass the cost of the raw materials, in the case the ethylene.
One of our reporters, Scarlett Fu, just profiled your company a few minutes before we started speaking with you, and she was saying one of the boons for your company has been your acquisition strategy. Do you plan to continue that? We know you set aside about $1 billion US to do so.
That's right. Well, we have to concentrate our efforts the rest of the year with the authorities, antitrust authorities in Colombia and in Mexico. We have one big acquisition, which is today is in process to discuss with the potential sellers. The opportunity that we have and with this big acquisition is incredible. I hope that we can convince the antitrust authorities, and also we convince the sellers with the right price, which is always important in this acquisition process. Try to find the right price for both parts, for the sellers and also for in this case for Mexichem.
Would you be buying in Mexico or outside of Mexican borders?
Well, we have in Mexico, this acquisition which is in process with CITSA, it's a Polycita and Rex, which is two acquisitions. The third one is with Kimir, it's also a chemical company. In Latin America, we have in Brazil, we closed the deal last week with Bidin. We have another acquisition in Colombia, and pretty sure in Peru, other one.
I want to ask you from where you sit if you are at all concerned about the slowdown in the U.S. affecting business conditions in Mexico.
Well, as far we don't have too much relation with the United States. Our strategy since the last year was to invest and grow in Latin America. In the United States, we don't see today any real impact in our business. In Mexico, I would say. In Latin America, it's zero effect for the moment.
One thing that is certainly affecting the U.S. economy is the price of oil. We touched on this a little bit earlier. I want to ask you, if President Felipe Calderon, if the oil reform goes through, and I'm making a reference to Pemex, does that change at all what happens to your business? Does that change your bottom line?
Well, the law, the information that we already have about this energetic reform is, for us, it's not affected now. We are in downstream, part of the downstream, and the reform is basically upstream. We don't have any impact, important impact for us.
Talk to us a little bit about your acquisition strategy, because that's where we were before the break. You said you're mostly looking, obviously, in Latin America. Are there types of businesses, types of industries, without telling us, companies that you may have on your potential shopping list, but just the sort of company that you may be interested in now?
Well, basically, it's pipe companies. Pipe companies, we have 2 companies in Mexico. We already got one in Brazil, and we have 2 additional companies in Peru and Colombia. The other important acquisition that today we are in process to conclude is in the fluorocarbons. Is in the business of the fluorspar and HF, which we have more than 6 months working with this potential seller. And if we have, positive conclusions with them, we expect to announce the results in 3 or 4 weeks. This operation, the fluorocarbons, is in United States. It's an integration and of the fluorspar, the business that we have, and of course, it's going to be a tremendous opportunity for both them, because they're going to integrate in the raw material, which is the fluorspar, and for us is the opportunity to go downstream, that means produce fluorocarbons.
Even with the dollar the way it is, does that make it more attractive?
Even that's more attractive, of course. It's attractive. Depends, of course, the final price that we are discussing with this seller.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing more about it. We thank you very much. Don Ricardo there, Ricardo Gutierrez, the CEO of Mexichem.